Hi, everybody. It's Tim Hagan from Progress Coaching, along with Mike Carroll from Intelligent Conversations. And this is going to be a really laid back session. We're going to talk about Sunday night selling, but we're first going to talk a little bit about how we got together, kind of the history of how we got from point A to point B to point C. And I've owned a company for 32 years called Progress Coaching, where we specialize in workplace coaching. And I ended up getting introduced to Mike many years ago. And on the surface, we were competitors, and then kind of our story started to evolve. So I'll let Mike introduce himself.
So my name is Mike Carroll. I own a company called Intelligent Conversations. I've had this company for about 21 years. We're a little more narrowly focused than Tim's practice. Our focus is helping B2B middle market sales teams. So we work with a lot of manufacturers, software and SaaS companies, all range of companies, a lot of building materials companies, but pretty much anything you can think of. It's amazing how people make money. We work best with companies who have a direct sales team. We don't have as big an impact when we're dealing with channel sales or distributors. So that's a little bit about our company. And as Tim said, we met, probably, Tim, I'm trying to remember, it's got to be 16 years ago, 18 years ago. So it wasn't long after I had started my business when we first got together. And what happened is we started meeting on Sunday nights because that was the night where our schedules were clear. And there are a couple great pizza places that we like to go to. And so we'd go eat pizza together. And it evolved. We started having conversations about our businesses. We started having conversations about our families. We started having conversations about challenges we were having with customers, challenges we were having with employees. And it just became this really cool relationship where we had an outlet, we had a collaborator, we had somebody who could see things from our perspective because as a coach, and especially at the beginning, it was just me. I had a couple team members. I wasn't, I've got a bigger practice now, but it can be very lonely. There aren't a lot of people who can see the world from your perspective. And in Tim, I found someone who not only was in a similar business, but also could kind of see the world from my perspective. And that was super helpful.
Yeah, and I would echo what Mike said, everybody. And it was really, I remember when we would do it probably every other Sunday night and work for us with families and kids and stuff. And we have kids similar ages and different ages. And Beth would always ask me, my wife, how was your dinner? I said, therapeutic. Yeah. Because it is a tough business. And one of the things that we started to share were, tech stacks. And I think, Mike and I always joke with each other of what we do and who does what better. And Mike is a very high touch business. I was not a high touch business 7-8 years ago. I'm now a very high touch business. And so we help each other. And one of the foundations where Mike is a nationally known expert is business development. We also have to do our own business development. And I come from a sales background. And so all of a sudden the relationship really started to morph into this, I need to do this every two Sundays or 2 Sundays every single month. And it really turned into this relationship. And then all of a sudden one night, I think we started talking about vacation spots, and you mentioned Door County. I'm like, oh my gosh, I go to Door County as much as I can. And we ended up sharing our love of Door County. And then all of a sudden we bought a couple places together, which is weird. And the one thing everybody you should know is when we first started out, there was a little trepidation because we're like, do we compete? Are we going to run into each other?
We do compete, and we've run into each other, I think, on 2 or 3 deals, and I think you've won every one of them. So no hard feelings.
I don't think so.
No hard feelings. It's fine. I'm working through it. It's all good.
But I think and so then now we have this little LLC called Sunday Night Properties. So when you hear the term Sunday night selling, you'll have a foundation of where that comes from. And one of the things that we talk about and have talked a lot about is business development. It's changed since the pandemic. You can't call someone and get extension 101. Now we're texting clients. How do we get behind the ghosting, the walls, and all the areas that you spend with your clients, Mike? And all of a sudden we started to talk, and our businesses have flourished a lot. We're not here to brag, but they have flourished. I say to my wife, and I think Mike says to his wife, Pam, I don't know if we would have been as successful without each other. Your thoughts?
No, I think that's fair. And I also would say in one of my longtime clients is a coaching organization. And so I've worked with hundreds of business coaches. There's different types of coaches. I also think there's like marketing people and other people who are really just a solopreneur focused on their specialty, whether that's coaching or marketing or SEO or whatever. There are some unique challenges. You don't naturally come by business development prospecting skills. There are coaches who are natural salespeople. That's great. But more often than not, I joke with this coaching organization I work with. I said, geez, if we could parachute these coaches into a boardroom, give them a marker and put them in front of a whiteboard, that'd be brilliant. Yep. Everyone would be in awe of them. The problem is they can't find the boardroom. They don't know where the door is. They don't know how to knock on it. They can't get their way into it. It's a different skill set. The things that make a coach and a really good, good listener, good asking questions, not, being able to be a helpful problem solver, those don't necessarily translate to business development. It seems awkward. It seems forced. I think there's a lot of mindset issues. And so I think, as Tim and I have described in this conversation, we've been able to co-elevate each other. We've been able to push each other in new directions. Tim mentioned how he's more high touch now. I would say I'm much more organized from a tech stack perspective. I'm doing things more efficiently. I've been able to scale my business through technology, largely because of Tim's input and guidance. So I think there's an opportunity for this type of relationship to, go out beyond just Tim and I and impact the coaching community at large. Yeah. And so Sunday Night Properties is starting to evolve into this new program, Sunday Night Selling. Tim, I'll let you give the quick high-level overview.
Yeah, and I think everybody, the one thing that we wanted to give and do this very casual video and share with everybody the kind of the premise, which really comes from Sunday Night Properties. When Mike and I would work together, he'd say, look, are you going up this weekend? Could I have it this weekend? Could you go to the other place? And we've always just been able to collaborate. And what we realized, if there's a special community of people, consultants, I would even say trainers, but especially coaches, we really do work well together. I mean, we typically have a core skill set of wanting to help people. But I think I go back to what Mike says, and I'll give my own more simplistic view of it. And that is, I think people would rather coach than sell. And we all get the reach outs of how we can get 48 appointments. We are not suggesting lead generation services. What we're suggesting, which I'll get into the 3 bullet items, is really true best practice sharing and kind of sharing what Mike and I did really in 3 main elements. And number 1, we'll do a monthly training session, probably about 75 to 90 minutes. Initially, it will be Mike or me or both. Yet we are going to have guest speakers. We're going to have other subject matter experts. It won't always be Mike and I. Number 2, then we'll have twice a month a best practice sharing where you'll meet with other members, typically about 4 other members, 15 minutes, and we'll have a monthly theme, whether it's email marketing, how to use LinkedIn with embedded video, or how to use different proposal creation services. And then that monthly theme will lead into our best practice sharing, where you'll meet with other members and find out what they're doing, learning tools, and really kind of facilitating what Mike and I have been doing for well over 12, 13 years. And then the last part is we've created a monthly cohort. We have an online community. Every week you will get a weekly lesson on Monday morning by 8 o'clock Central Time, specific to that monthly theme. And then you can share what you've learned, share what your insights are, what other tools you may have used or what other approaches. And then the whole community will see that. And we're looking, at least initially, we already have members. We have registered members. And what we're looking for is we're charging a very nominal fee for at least the first charter set of members at only $60 a month. That will go up eventually, but we're looking for a core group to expand what we're currently doing. So it's very simple, very cost effective. And the one premise that we really want to share is Mike and I are not going to upsell and cross-sell. If you want to reach out to us about our services, that's a whole different conversation. We are not going to, bring in other things and kind of surprise you with additional upsells and cross-sells. We want this to be a true best practice sharing community for coaches. Mike?
I would also add, just to, and we probably should document community guidelines at some point, but I would also say we're going to watch, like, this isn't an environment. The vision we have is to build a community of collaborative coaches that parallels the relationship Tim and I have developed, where it's all about giving, not about taking.
Yes.
And if there's a sense that a member is behind the scenes or even in the chat, cross-selling their stuff, we're going to put an end to that real quickly.
Right.
Of course, relationships are going to evolve. You may partner with someone and go, oh my God, you do that? I would hire you to do that. That's different. But if you're actively promoting yourself, this isn't the forum for you. It's really about giving, sharing your knowledge, having a team of experts. It's lonely as a coach. And, we think we can elevate everyone a little bit faster when you have a resource network to go to and say, hey, I'm getting pitched for this business insurance. Do I need to worry about errors and omissions insurance? By the way, you do. Anyway, so that's another topic. But, have that community to say, hey, I'm getting pitched for this. Do I need to be listed in this, best, Better Business Bureau directory? Probably not a good use of money. There's different things that more seasoned gray-haired coaches have seen. That's like, I wouldn't worry about that. I would definitely worry about this.
Yeah.
So that's sort of the idea behind this, is to elevate everyone together and really focus on training, on learning together, best practice sharing, and then actually doing stuff. The micro lessons we're going to push out every Monday morning. And I've been coaching coaches on how to do business development for 13, 14 years now. Mm-hmm. It's all practical, like, hey, do these things. If you're not sure where to start, if you don't know how to start filling your calendar with meaningful appointments, this isn't about spam LinkedIn and work on some outsourced lead gen program. This is really about practical things you can implement right away, and then share your experiences, and then look at the experiences of other coaches and go, oh, that worked well there. I'm going to steal some of this. I'm going to use some of that. I'm going to make it this way. Over time, you'll start to have better success. So that's really our goal. It's really how do we help this coaching community elevate?
Well, and I'll add just kind of a last tidbit that you and I were talking about when we created the agenda for 2026. We were talking about the craft of getting referrals. And one of the things I've always talked about is make a list of anybody and everybody you know and ask for help. And then you said, well, here's what I suggest. Go to people you know and say, I'm growing my coaching business. I've hit a little bit of lull, or I'm starting a coaching business. I need your feedback. I want to give you my approach. I want to give you my pitch, and I would love your feedback. And one of the things that you said that I had never thought about is a relationship naturally evolves. They get to experience and feel you, which they're more emotionally attached to helping you. And I hadn't thought of that. So this isn't about getting referrals. One of the things that what we're going to do is focus on business development, focus on tools that will help you grow your business so you can sell less and coach more. And that's kind of the premise of this community. So last thoughts, Mike?
No, I think you nailed it. I'm excited to get started. This is going to be a fun project for us. I'm looking forward to getting this launched and getting coaches, more coaches enrolled. And I'm excited about it.
Yeah, and reach out to Mike or I. We'll put both of our email addresses down. We'll get you some information, and we have we're going to be doing a soft launch here between now and the end of 2025, and then officially rolling it out in January of 2026, even though we're already working with some coaches. So I hope you'll join us. If you have some questions, let us know, everybody. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, everyone.